Welcome to Real Estate Real World, where we talk to the movers, shakers, and leaders that are getting it done right now in the real estate industry and beyond. I'm your host, Marguerite Crespillo, and I started this podcast simply dedicated to calling people about what's really happening in this crazy roller coaster ride of real estate. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and stay up to date on the newest stuff by adding yourself to the list at www.realestaterealworld.com. Now, let's dive into the world of real estate. Hello, everybody. It is Marguerite Crespillo, and it is time for Real Estate Real World. And today we have a very special guest. It was fun to find out that I have some mutual friends in common with this gentleman. So let me quickly read his bio, and then we're going to dive into a fun conversation. So Steve Shull is a former linebacker for the Miami Dolphins, where he played under legendary coach Don Shula. Pretty amazing, and was one of the tri-captains in the 1982 Super Bowl. How cool is that? When an injury forced him to change his game, literally, he pivoted into finance, then real estate, and found his calling when he started coaching other real estate agents. After 32 years and over 60,000 hours of one-on-one coaching, he knows more about real estate agents' daily struggles than anybody in the world. That insight has led to a unique approach that takes the fear and the fight out of real estate, allowing agents to build stronger businesses while actually enjoying their lives. He teaches that approach through his coaching platform, Performance Coaching, and his 3 books, Real Estate is Not Rocket Science, The Real Estate Team Playbook, and The Full Fee Agent. So welcome, Steve.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's funny because I was sending I have a good friend, Frank Crandall, and we hold each other accountable for a lot of stuff. And so we'll send each other kind of our schedule for the day. What are you doing today? So I sent him my schedule this morning and he goes, Steve Shull. And he goes, you're interviewing him? And I go, yeah. He goes, do you know him? I said, not really. We were connected through some people. And so I'm excited to have him on the show. He goes, he coached me all those years ago and he's played for the Miami Dolphins. And so you're a superstar for sure in his eyes. So I'm very honored that you're here today.
Great to hear that.
Yeah. So it's been a while. So 32 years since you were playing football. So a lot of things have changed in that world even, haven't they?
They certainly have. The money being the biggest one.
I'm guessing you didn't get paid the big numbers like they did back in the day, huh? Or they do now. Yeah.
My signing bonus was $500, and my first year contract was $25,000. So yeah, a little different.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But that was probably a lot to you then at the time, right? So there you go.
Yeah. I like what they're making now, though. Let me tell you.
Me too. That actually ties a little bit into real estate too, right? Like how agents, we don't get paid a salary, but the fact is so I've been in real estate for 31 years. Here in December, it'll be 31 years. The whole industry has changed dramatically. The real estate industry has changed as well.
Absolutely. The money that top agents make today I've had clients make in excess of $10 million in GCI. The opportunity in this business is truly unlimited.
It's funny because one of my early client that I talk about frequently is a gal that I sold a $50,000 HUD home to back then. So my commission was like $1,500 before splits and before all that kind of stuff. And I was happy to work with her. I still am. She's still in my database. I still work with her all these years. Tell me a little bit about your coaching program and what you do when coaching real estate agents, because I mean, I've been through a few coaches over the years, and Frank was saying that you're a tough one. And those are my favorite because I like the kind of coaches that are like, no BS, right? Tell it like it is and help you get done. So how did you end up in the coaching business? And tell me a little bit about what you do and how you do it.
Actually, I am the guy who created real estate coaching. I started selling real estate in 1991. Maybe just a little before you. And I had moved from Florida out to Southern California. I didn't know anyone. I'd never lived in Southern California and didn't know anything about real estate. I had listened to a CD. It might have even been a cassette back then.
I was going to say, it might have been a tape cassette back then.
And it was an interview that Mike Ferry had done with 2 agents in Long Beach, California, Kim and Daryl Rouse. And I was listening to this interview, and they were in their second year. They were door knockers, and they were on track to sell 100 homes. And I listened to this interview, and it made perfect sense to me what I got out of that interview. Contacts equal leads, leads equal appointments, appointments equal listings equal sales. And it all made sense. I partnered up with someone who'd been in the business 10 years or so at that time, doing 10 deals a year, and taking what I learned going to the Mike Ferry programs in our first year together in a terrible real estate market. We closed 53 transactions.
Wow.
And again, I didn't know anything. I couldn't even fill out a contract. I didn't know that. What I understood was you had to go prospect, and which is not any dissimilar from having to practice every day as an athlete. So I understood that if you want to be in the games, you had to go to practice every day. And I started out knocking 25 doors a day and built that up to knocking 200 doors a day. I called every expired every day, 14 different cities. And I was basically spending a minimum of 4 to 5 hours a day prospecting. Back then, they didn't have CRMs. So I hired a computer programmer to make a version of a CRM. Started with a little
Rolodex.
I started with index cards and a little box that we put things in, and then graduated, got this program to write a program for us. Anyway, closed 53 deals in that first year, was on track to do 100 deals in our second year. And I went to Mike and said, hey, I think what I did with this agent, I could do with lots of agents. And based on my background being with the Dolphins, I did 5 years on Wall Street. And Mike said, sure, let's do it. And so we were speaking in an office in Las Vegas, a Coldwell Banker Premier, signed up our first 9 clients for a coaching program that didn't exist yet. From there, we went to San Francisco, signed up 90 people for the coaching program that did not exist, and went back to the office that week and created the first real estate coaching program. And it started off, it was a 15-minute phone call every 2 weeks. I created a fax form where agents would track their contacts, leads, appointments, listings, and sales by the day. They'd fax it in at the end of the week. Then we get on our coaching call. I would review the numbers with them, and it was $100 a month for that coaching. And that's where real estate coaching started.
That's awesome. And what's interesting is because I've done a lot of coaching and training throughout my career and helping support agents. And I always will go back to how important it is to know your numbers. And I frequently reference the athletes and what they do and what it takes to get where they are, right? In sports. And because what I know, and you quickly figured that out, is that numbers don't lie. They tell you exactly where to go, right? If somebody comes to me and says, I have no leads, they'll be like, how many contacts do you have? I have leads, but no appointments. Then we got to work on skill training, right? Like, it teaches you. What I love about numbers is that it tells you what direction to go. If you don't have enough contacts, you're not going to get enough leads. If you've got plenty of leads, but you're not closing deals, now you got a problem, right? You need to work on some skill training on how to convert people. But the numbers tell you exactly what direction to go, do they not?
Right. And I wrote this book, Real Estate is Not Rocket Science, because guess what?
It's not rocket science. Right.
And it's a very simple business. It truly is. And the way I coach today is 180 degrees from where I started. When I started out, it was all about lead generation, lead conversion. It was all about prospecting. Mike Ferry back then did not believe in repeat and referral business, did not believe in open houses. We were given 4 choices: cold calling, knock on doors, expired listings, for sale by owners. That was it. Those are your 4 choices. And I was not going to cold call. That was not happening. For sale by owners was not appealing to me. So by default, it was knock on doors and expired listings. And it's important to understand that I don't want to do any of it. If anyone is looking for a way to generate business that's comfortable, guess what? You're not going to find it.
None.
It doesn't
Yeah.
exist. And I don't care what you pick. The thing that helped me in the beginning was the idea that I was given these choices, had to do this. And then the other thing, Mike was very famous back then with the idea if you didn't do 50 deals a year, you were a worthless piece of crap. And for better or worse, I got it in my head that I needed to do 50 deals a year. And to do 50 deals a year, you had to talk to 50 people a day. Getting back to the whole numbers aspect, I tracked every day how many contacts I was making, how many leads, how many appointments. So I knew all the ratios and was trying to back into the numbers. Today, the coaching has evolved from lead generation, lead prospecting to I focus exclusively on building a repeat and referral business, taking advantage of the compound effect. And really at the foundation is cultivating relationship, which is at the opposite end of the spectrum of lead generation, lead conversion, where you're talking to people you don't know, and it's much more transactional than relational.
It's funny that you say that because two things. When I first got into the business, they told me I had to cold call, and I went to a cold calling class back then, and they handed us a phone, the old kind of phone, and a phone book, and said start making calls. I made it about 10 minutes. I said I think I'm going to throw up. This doesn't work for me. And I was sitting next to this guy Mike, I'll never forget, and he goes, "Hey, let's go down the street to get a cocktail." So we left the class, went down to the local a little place to get a cocktail, happy hour. And we both walked out with clients from that bar. And that taught me right then that I can build relationships and do business that way. And then the story I said earlier of one of my early deals with Linda, I have told this story many times, but Linda Buckmaster, I sold her a $50,000 HUD home in 1997. She has since bought and sold 8 homes through me. But even better, she has referred people who've referred people who've referred people who've referred people, 8 levels deep, 65 referrals, over 400,000 in commissions. So there's definitely value in that repeat and referral business if you take care of the people and manage them, right?
One of the things that we do as part of our coaching is we conduct what we call a sales audit. And we go back and track every deal that you've done in your career. And as part of that audit, where did that deal come from? And what we've seen exclusively when we do these audits, that 50% or more of any agent's business is repeat and referral. Obviously, that may not be true in year one, but anyone who's been in the business for a period of time, the majority of their business is repeat and referral. And yet agents have this fascination with trying to generate new business, go after strangers. There's
100%.
so much resistance in this business to staying in touch with people. And if you think about it, you're in this intimate relationship for 30, 60, 90 days. You're talking every day. You're talking multiple times a day. And then the deal closes and you have every intention of reaching out and saying, congratulations. However, you get busy that day and you say, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow comes and you get busy tomorrow. And then the next thing, it's day 3 and you're already starting to feel a little icky. I haven't congratulated them. And then 3 days turns into a week, turns into a month, turns into a year, turns into a decade. And they're off doing business with someone else because
100%.
you, on that first day, you didn't make that call. And what we stress with our coaching clients in that first 90 days, it is critical to have a plan in place that, you go from talking every day to a week to 2 weeks to 4 weeks, and, you start to spread it out. And then you get into a regular 90-day cadence once they move into past client status. And This is job one in real estate, cultivating in relationship, staying in touch with people. And again, there's nothing complicated. And I will say this though, staying in touch means reaching out by phone or in person, not email, not text. And I know nobody talks by phone anymore. Bullshit. Excuse my language.
That's all right.
You got to be in touch. This is a people business. It is a relationship driven business fueled by human connection. And if you and we can get into CRM if you want to, one of the things we talk about, the only people that go in your CRM are the people that you're committed to reaching out to by phone or in person every 90 days. Most people, if they have a CRM, it's nothing but a dumping ground. And they have a bunch of junk in there, incomplete information, strangers, hope, maybe, all sorts of stuff. And that's why they don't use their CRM. And their CRM is their most powerful business building tool. And
100%. And here's the thing that's interesting though too is that, and you probably have seen this in your coaching career, the biggest challenge I think with real estate agents and the people who are attracted to it is lack of discipline and lack of consistency. Would you agree?
yeah,
Because you can't go play on the Miami Dolphins like you did and just show up like when the mood strikes you or when you feel like it, or decide, oh, I'll come back next week. I don't feel like doing it today. And it's what I know is that usually the highest paid people on the planet are athletes and celebrities. And the one thing that they do the most is practice. And they put in the effort and they have the discipline, not necessarily celebrities, but mostly athletes have the discipline. And when you talked about consistently making the calls and doing the work and following up with your database, that requires some discipline, does it not?
yeah, I talk about this all the time. I played football for 11 years. I never missed I say two things. I never wanted to go to one single practice ever. And I never missed one single practice ever. My feelings about wanting to go to practice are irrelevant. If you want to be on the team and you want to be a starter and you want to play and you want to be great, you show up every day. And you're absolutely correct. In real estate, and I don't know that agents really understand this, the thing that you get paid most for in real estate is not smarts, it's not being creative, it's being consistent. That's what
100%.
gets you a paycheck.
Yeah. 100%. And I know that, like I said, I've been 31 years in real estate. When people ask me like what has been my key to success, it has been consistency. It's been doing the same thing over and over. I'm like, I'm not that smart. I barely graduated high school by the skin of my teeth. I did not go to college. But what I have been is I've been consistent and I've done the same thing over and over again. And I've tried to think about the psychology of this a little bit, that the industry as a whole attracts people who don't want to work. They're like, oh, I can work when I want. And all you have to do is put a sign in the yard and I can have a flexible schedule. And it attracts that personality type in many ways, sadly. And those are the ones who won't be successful. That's the hobby athletes versus professional athletes. It's no difference in real estate. We have hobby real estate agents who, with these changes that are going on in our market, which I know you're familiar with, is, to me, a lot of those hobby agents are going to go by the wayside. They're not going to make it.
Yeah, again, discipline, accountability, all these things are sorely missing in this industry. And it's because most agents have a short term focus. All they're thinking about is where's their next deal coming from. That's their attention span. And unfortunately, I call that chasing. When you're obsessed with one thing and everything else goes out the window because of that one thing. And that's what most agents are doing every single day, is just simply chasing a deal. They're not building a business, two very different things. And so again, because of that short-term focus, most agents are simply on a treadmill that's going nowhere. In this industry, every force imaginable is conspiring to turn every agent into a commodity. In this business, the sole focus is on production. You're measured by your production, you're ranked by your production, you're paid by your production. The problem with that is you're not in control of your production. You're not in control of the outcome. You're not in control of anything external to you. All you control is what you do every day. You're in control of your process. And when you're trying to control something that you have no control over, then by definition, you're going to be out of control. And that's where most agents are. They don't understand this is the challenge of real estate. You only get paid for your results. However, you're not in control of your results. And that's the challenge of being in this business. And if you don't understand that, then again, you're going to go down this path where you're constantly seeking instant gratification, where you're thinking, oh, all of you listening, how many times have you said to yourself, oh, I just need one more deal. I just need one more deal. That sounds like everybody an addict. I just need one more deal. And that one more deal comes, and the next thing, yeah, there's some temporary relief. However, as soon as that relief wears off, oh, I need another deal and another deal. And in this industry, no one ever says it. However, it's indirectly or directly implied that if you just sell enough homes, you're going to be okay. Newsflash, no, you're not. There's no amount of homes that you sell, and I coach agents who sell over 250 homes a year. There's no amount of homes that you're going to sell that's going to make you okay. There's nothing that can happen in the external world that's going to make you okay internally. That's the real work that agents don't do, the inner work. And that's where a lot of my coaching focuses on.
That actually fascinates me a bit because I'm curious what the difference is in high performing agents and their mindset versus lower performing. And how do you take them from that? How do you take an agent who's maybe not performing at their potential and help them get to that potential? Is the majority of it mindset? Like, how does that work?
Yes, the majority is mindset. Again, real estate is not hard to figure out. It's not hard to figure out. It's not complicated. What's hard is getting you off your butt and doing the work that you need to do every single day, because most people, the root cause, the challenge that most people have is at their core, they don't believe they're good enough.
Right.
And when you don't believe you're good enough, fear is going to run your life every single day. And so getting back to what's the difference, the main difference between the top performers and those who are not. Top performers show up every day. They show up every day. They are driven. They're smart. They're driven. They're consistent. And they just get after it again and again. So in many ways, and this is not what I coach to, I want to be clear about this. However, most of the top performers are top performers because they just out hustle everyone else. The problem with that model is if you're not enjoying your life, and most of them are not, because again, they're fear-based, then what's the point? And this gets back to what I said earlier. If you're thinking that if you just sell more homes, you're going to be happier, you're not. You're not. In real estate, everyone has a goal. I want to make 100,000. Then when they make 100, now they want to make 250. And then when they make 250, they want to make 500. And then when they make 500, they want to make $1 million. And then when they want to make $1 million, they want to make 2 million, then 5 million, then 10 million. And the goalpost just keeps moving. And rather than getting happier, rather than having more joy in their life, there's just a lot more stress and a lot more suffering, because now, rather than having to sell 25 homes a year, I've got to sell 250 homes a year. That's a lot of pressure. And so my coaching really focuses on A, how to do well, and B, how to be well. And it starts with doing, like I said, the internal work. There's 6 core building blocks that we coach to. One is practicing mindfulness. That's the foundational piece. 2, optimizing time. 3, cultivating relationship. 4, implementing standards. 5, mastering communication. and 6, acting strategically. And practicing mindfulness is really understanding that whatever is happening, okay, you've got nothing to do with it. The universe was here way before you were, and the universe will be here well after you are. And most people, and it's not your fault, you've been programmed, you've been conditioned, you've been trained to believe what the mind can believe and conceive, what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Bullshit. Again, sorry for my language.
Oh, it's all
It doesn't
good.
work that way. Nobody can sit around, visualize, chant, do mantras, and manifest. You are not. Let me read this to you. I love this. This comes from Michael Singer, and the book is The Surrender Experiment. And I read this every week to my clients, almost every week, if not more. Life rarely unfolds exactly as we want it to. And if we stop and think about it, that makes perfect sense. The scope of life is universal, and the fact that we are not actually in control of life's events should be self-evident. The universe has been around for billions of years, and the processes that determine the flow of life around us did not begin when we were born, nor will they end when we die. What manifests in front of us at any given moment is actually something truly extraordinary. It is the end result of all the forces that have been interacting together for billions of years. We are not responsible for even the tiniest fraction of what is manifesting around us. Nonetheless, we walk around constantly trying to control and determine what will happen in our lives. You are not the center of the universe.
Oh, come on now. Hold on.
What you want, and this is big, and this is a big part of my coaching.
It's huge. Wait, who was the author again? Because I'm writing
Mike,
down this book.
Michael Singer. And
Michael.
he's written The Untethered Soul, The Surrender.
Oh, I read The Untethered Soul. That was really good. I didn't know about this book, Surrender Experiment. I'm going to order that today.
And again, this is, most people have been taught something completely different. You are not the center of the universe. What runs your life are your personal preferences, what you want and what you don't want. And that's how you live your life every day, thinking, I need to get more of what I want and I need to avoid what I don't want. Please understand, your personal preferences are personal. They have nothing to do with anything. The universe doesn't operate that way. The universe, what's happening in front of you is the result of billions of years of evolution. If you leave planet Earth today, what changes? Nothing. All right. Somebody might be sad for a few days. But again, within a year, 10 years, whatever, your name is never going to be spoken again. And so it's understanding mindfulness is about getting in harmony with what is. Again, what's happening is happening. Nothing is personal. Nothing's happening to you. It's simply happening. And you're not in control of what's happening. All you control is your response to what's happening. And everything that happens is temporary. 100%. Look at what just happened yesterday. You have people on both sides of the equation, right? Everybody wanted their person to win. And the side that won yesterday, yay! The side that I had clients crying on the phone yesterday, and I'm not making any comment politically. You can call me personally if you want that. My point is, what happened? Yeah. And you had one vote. And your vote didn't, wasn't the vote that decided who was going to be there. And it's happening. It's not personal and it's temporary. In 4 years, someone else will be there. And this is life. And you don't wake up in the morning thinking that you're going to change the weather. Why are you thinking that you can change whether someone is going to buy or sell a home? It doesn't work 100%. That way. 100%. They don't work on your time frame. What you've got to do, you've got to be ready when the people in your database are ready to buy and sell. You've got to be top of mind. So when they're ready, they're reaching out to you. And if CRM is the platform, the technology that allows you to stay in touch in a very streamlined.
And the funny thing is what people focus on, they'll listen to you say that entire diatribe you just said. And then they'll say, which CRM should I use?
And I'll
It
tell
doesn't,
you,
it doesn't
the
matter.
the best, the greatest CRM is the one you use. That one works.
100%. It just cracks me up though that people will like listen to all that you just
Oh,
said and that
you're absolutely
everything
right.
it
I have
was
a
so
running joke.
impactful. All they'll focus on is what CRM do I use?
I have a running joke. You're going to love this. And this has been going on 32 years. The question that agents have more than anything else is, do I put my picture on my business card? And one day, not yet, one day I promise to answer that question, whether you should put your picture on your business card. That's what agents want to know.
That's so funny. My husband, he was in the mortgage, but he's retired now, but he was in the mortgage business for 40 years. And he has a picture of him when he was around 3 years old with a pacifier in his mouth. And that's the picture that he has used on his business cards for all those years. He
Right.
goes, that's because whenever you see somebody's picture, it's always outdated anyway. So I've sent mine all the way. You know what? I feel like I could talk to you all day, but one of the things that I loved that you said early on, and I've said this many times too, is that you never want to go, but you'll always regret not going. You won't regret going, right? So it's like the gym. You don't go to the gym and say, damn, I shouldn't have gone to the gym today. But if you don't go, you'll be like, damn, I should have gone to the gym today. It's like, how much of your life are you going to live in this regret space of not doing what you need to do until I always say life happens for one way or reason, by choice or by force. You can decide. If you choose to do it, it'll go one direction. If you don't choose to do it, eventually you're not going to have a choice. It's like your health, right? Like we don't want to take care of our health. And then all of a sudden one day you don't have a choice. And now you have to take care of your health. So it just seems like that is a lot of the stuff that happens in the real estate industry as well. Would you not agree?
100%. And again, I learned this as a professional athlete. You've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. There's nothing comfortable about what you're being asked to do as a professional athlete. And if you can't get comfortable being uncomfortable, and we can say that differently, and this is life, period. If you want to succeed in life, you have to do the things you don't want to do. And the
100%.
things you don't want to do are the exact things that need to be done in order to be successful. The 6 building blocks that I landed on are the 6 things that agents most don't want to do.
Yeah.
They don't want to practice mindfulness. They want to believe they can manifest whatever they want. No, doesn't work that way. They don't want a time block. That feels too restrictive. They want to be able to go at any moment's notice when the phone rings. Cultivating relationship. Are you kidding me? I don't want to be around these people. Implementing standards. No, I don't want to do that. Mastering communication. No, I want to spend my entire life trying to convince people. And acting strategically. No, I'd rather wing it any day of the week. I didn't set out to do it that way. However, these 6 building blocks are the 6 things that agents most don't want to do, and yet they're the 6 things that allow you to build a thriving repeat and referral business.
And those blocks are in your books as well, right? And can you tell us the names of your books again?
They're in Real Estate is Not Rocket Science.
Awesome.
That book is about the real estate from A to Z. For anyone who's in this business, that book will give you an understanding of what you signed up for and how you can succeed. And the book focuses on 3 things. 1, being coachable. Any of you who are working with a real estate coach, be very clear. If you don't do what they say, it doesn't work. And if all you're doing is asking your coach, what else can I do? Meaning, I'm not going to do anything you told me to do. What else can I do? That's not going to work. So I talk about what it means to be coachable. As a player, again, I played 11 years. There wasn't a single day where I did not do what my coach asked me to do, whether I wanted to, whether I agreed to or not. Coach tells you, you do it. So being coachable, that book is about 1, being coachable, 2, how to build a repeat and referral business. That's where the 6 building blocks come in. And 3, most importantly, how do you enjoy every day in life? Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, what's the point?
Exactly. And I think that's so valuable because, especially right now, I heard a great quote this morning and I loved this. It said, "What do people want more than anything when they're struggling is they want community." Community means you have to get out there, you have to do the work. And I hear people all the time talk about, like you said, visualize, manifest, dream, whatever it is that we all do, it's in some aspect. But there is the requirement to do the work, right? Like I could dream all day long
Always,
about being
always. Yep.
I can dream, or you could have dreamed all day long about being in the Super Bowl. But if you don't do any of the work to get there, all you're going to do is buy a ticket. So it's no different than the real estate industry. And I just see so many agents do exactly what you say. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to be consistent. It's my brother used to always say they're looking for that easy button, right? They can just hit the easy button and business is going to come flowing to them. The easy button doesn't exist. You have to do the work, right?
No, it doesn't. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Steve, thank you so much. I feel like we could talk for hours and hours. I'm going to have to come. Do you do events or anything like that? Or are you just doing private coaching now?
No, we actually have an event coming up December 3rd in West Los Angeles, and it's called Game Plan 2025. It's all about setting your vision, your strategy, and focus for the new year. If you go to www.performancecoaching.com, you'll find all that information. If you want to email support@performancecoaching.com, you can do that. All the books I've written are on amazon.com. And I really appreciate you having me today.
Thank you so much. I'm going to check out your event, see if I can figure out a way to get it into my schedule because I would love to come down and go. So it sounds like good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us today, Steve. And for everybody else out there listening, he had some key points and you can be coachable or not coachable. So it depends on what you want your business to look like. So get out there and do the work and be sure to follow us on all social media with Real Estate Real World. And we'd love to get a review if you have time. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us again today on Real Estate Real World, where we get to talk to all the cool people, including world famous athletes like Steve Shull. Make it an amazing day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Real Estate Real World, where we talk with masters and leaders in the real estate industry and beyond on how we can raise the bar in our industry. Please subscribe over on iTunes, and while you're there, be sure to give us a review. Your reviews encourage us and help others to find our podcast for show notes and hot topics on what's going on right now in our real estate industry. Also, hop on over to www.realestaterealworld.com and add your name to our email to get early advance notice of upcoming podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and go out there and be a part of the elite masterclass and raising the bar on the real estate industry.